What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home? A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1. Bringing you the news, I am Hashni Pathirana.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
US investments shifts from China to boost Sri Lanka's economy. China gears up for in-depth review of new government's development needs. Debt restructuring nears completion. Former State Minister Lohan Ratwate arrested. Prime Minister Harini pledges to meet the people's expectations.
ඔබ අපට බාර දීලා තියෙන මේ වගකීම අපි සුළුපටුසෙන් සලකන්නේ ඒ බාර අපිට දැනෙනවා ඔබ අපිව පත් කරේ මේ සිස්ටම් චේන්ජ් එකක් ඒ වගකීම අපි ඉතාමත් බරපතල ලෙස බලනවා.
Only the people can cleanse parliament. A statement from former President Ranil.
දැන් තර්ජනය කරනවා ඔයා සුද්ධ කරන්න ඔයා අබාන්නේ කේද එච්චරයි මං අහන්නේ මේක ජනතාව වැඩ ජනතාව කැමති විදිහට ඔක් කරයි.
Did Ranjan hand out cash?
සල්ලි බෙදනක සහෝදරයා මම එදා ඉඳන් කළා. කුඩු සල්ලි නෑ, කප්පන් සල්ලි නෑ. එතකොට එතනෝල් සල්ලි නෑ, ඇන්ටිජන් සල්ලි නෑ.
40 kilograms of heroin busted in Savanagala. 2 associates of Harakata nabbed in Colombo.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Starting off with news here at home, today marked two pivotal developments in the realm of global powers. First, a major US company made headlines by shifting its manufacturing from China to Sri Lanka. In another significant turn, China expressed keen interest in launching future projects with Sri Lanka's new government.
US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, said that the factory's decision to shift its facility in China to establish a manufacturing facility here in Sri Lanka is a testament to the growing interest of US investment in Sri Lanka. The groundbreaking ceremony for the new seatbelt factory in Sri Lanka took place today. The groundbreaking ceremony for Shield's new seatbelt factory in Sri Lanka took place today in Gampaha.
Happy Diwali as well. Yeah. Like this. Yeah, man. It's not raining, huh?
There it is. All right, here we go. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Shield's decision to establish a manufacturing here in Sri Lanka to move it from China to Sri Lanka is a testament to the growing interest of U.S. investment here. The United States is already the largest export market for Sri Lanka, and it's wonderful to see greater U.S. investment directly coming here. We need to have more bilateral, both ways, trade and investment between our countries. I'm very excited about seeing more of that trend. And manufacturing moves like this one, driven by customer demand to diversify supply chains, they represent a great opportunity for Sri Lanka. That the new government can continue to strengthen the investment climate, strengthen implementation of anti-corruption measures, and address transparency. This could even be a greater potential for more companies to come, manufacture, and invest right here in Sri Lanka. You know that phrase, if you build it, they will come? I believe they will come. And that means more jobs for Sri Lanka, more prosperity for everybody, and more research and development as well. The partnership between Sri Lanka and the United States is built on shared goals and mutual respect. From boosting farmers' crop yields to strengthening Sri Lanka's maritime security. So we are driven, I'm driven every day when I wake up towards this common vision. How do we work together to improve people's lives, foster economic growth, and ensure regional stability? So this groundbreaking ceremony is a great moment, but a greater moment than just the opening of a facility is to renew our dedication to these shared goals, building stronger, inclusive communities and thriving local economies together. We look forward to witnessing the positive impact this factory will have on the local economy for jobs and fostering more innovation.
The chairman of the Board of Investments also spoke at the event.
This expansion not only reflects the strength and vision of these companies, but also highlights the potential Sri Lanka holds as a vital player in the global aerospace and defense sector. AmSafe Bridport has been an invaluable contributor to our economy since its first established operations here in 2001. What began as a British investment under Bridport Aviation quickly evolved into an essential arm of the AmSafe Group, a name synonymous with quality and safety. We believe this expansion exemplifies the commitment to quality and technological advancement that characterizes all Transdim's entities, making the group a global leader in engineering excellence with over 16,000 employees worldwide. In recent years, AmSafe Bridport has consistently earned accolades for its exceptional workplace culture and social impact. With 600 direct employees and an annual contribution of around $5 million to our economy, AmSafe has not only excelled in business but also enhanced the lives of many Sri Lankans.
The ambassador and other invitees inspected the new premises as well.
You can see our people are assembling products. Yes. This room, how many workers?
Sri Lanka's finance secretary said that he hopes that the country's debt treatment chapter will soon be closed so that the island nation will be able to resume a robust financial relationship.
Finance Secretary Mahinda Siriwardana elaborated on China's role in the country's debt treatment.
China has extended financial aid and loans to help Sri Lanka address its economic challenges, especially during the times of crisis. Overall, China's ongoing support plays a vital role in Sri Lanka's aspirations for economic growth and modernization. China has also played a pivotal role in supporting Sri Lanka's debt treatment efforts. In response to the unprecedented, deep and most complex economic crisis experienced since mid-2021. Exactly a year ago, in October 2023, China was the first among the official sector creditors to announce an agreement in principle AIP on the key financial terms for the treatment of debts owed by Sri Lanka to the Exim Bank of China. Subsequently, following cordial and constructive discussions, the two sides reached a final agreement on debt treatment terms in June 2024, on the same day when a similar MOU was signed with the Official Creditor Committee, that is OCC, comprising 17 official sector lenders to Sri Lanka and co-chaired by France, India and Japan. Subsequently, following the agreement coming into force, Exim Bank of China became the first external lender to conclude the debt treatment process. Excellent progress has also been made on the debt treatment related to China Development Bank, CDB. We are now in the final stages of finalizing comparability of treatment matters for CDP related to OCC. We all know how complex and technically challenging this debt treatment process has been, both in terms of ensuring comparability with the IMF's debt sustainability analysis, that is DSA, as well as ensuring comparability of treatment with other creditors. This was possible with Chinese lenders, given the mutual trust and good faith demonstrated by both sides. Sri Lanka hopes that the debt treatment chapter will soon be closed and we can resume a robust financial relationship, including fresh financing for high-quality priority projects going forward.
The China Aid Training Alumni reception took place in the presence of the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka. Now, speaking at the event, the ambassador said that in the next year, the Chinese government will fully consider the development needs of the new Sri Lankan government.
China's foreign aid training is a concrete actions to implement global development initiatives raised by our President Xi Jinping, and are important measures to promote the building of the community with shared future for mankind. China's foreign aid training adheres to the concept of sharing consultation, and co-construction, building a platform for countries to exchange experience in governance and fully share the successful experience of Chinese modernization. Since China launched Foreign Aid Training Program in 1950, it has trained more than 510,000 people for developing countries. The Chinese government attaches great importance to all-round educational cooperation with Sri Lanka. Over the years, it has used foreign aid funds to hold various training programs in China, inviting nearly 13,000 Sri Lanka friends of various circles to participate in seminars in China. By end of October this year, more than 1,000 Sri Lanka participants went to China for training, and the training topics covered 17 major areas, including public management, scientific research, information, technology, economy and trade, education, health, agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry and fishery, resources and environment, and disaster management. Through mutual learning and exchanges, we have grown together and deepened the traditional friendship between our two countries. In the next year, the Chinese government will fully consider the development needs of the new Sri Lanka government, improve the pertinence and effectiveness of a training program, and welcome more participants to visit and study in China.
Forging ahead with its program on science and technology, China declared a complete success after it launched a new 3-person crew to its orbiting space station as the country seeks to expand its exploration of outer space with missions to the moon and beyond. The Shenzhou 19 spaceship carrying the trio blasted off from a satellite launch center in northwest China at 4:27 a.m. local time, atop a Long March 2F rocket, the backbone of China's crew space missions. China built its own space station after being excluded from the International Space Station, mainly because of the US concerns over the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese Communist Party's military arms' overall control over the space program. China's moon program is part of a growing rivalry with the United States and others, including Japan and India.
Former State Minister Lohan Ratwatte has been remanded until the 7th of November. He was arrested in Katugostota this morning.
Police spokesperson DIG Nihal Thaldua said that former State Minister Lohan Ratwatte was arrested on charges of using a vehicle that was assembled illegally. The vehicle was found at a residence in Mirihana. The former State Minister was taken to the Mirihana police station following his arrest.
We have established a new hotline, 1997, for the public to send messages. We are conducting investigations based on the information we received through that hotline. During the investigations, it was revealed that this residence belonged to the wife of the former State Minister. We did not receive sufficient assistance from the former State Minister for this investigation. However, we obtained the government analyst's report and took the vehicle into police custody for further examination. The report revealed that the number plate on the vehicle was forged. After cross-checking with customs, it was confirmed that such a vehicle had not been imported through the customs. Similarly, the Department of Motor Traffic has also confirmed that there is no record of such vehicle being registered. However, investigators have discovered that this vehicle was used by the State Minister. Thus, investigators have concluded that it is an unlawfully assembled vehicle. Using such a vehicle is an offence under the Motor Traffic Act.
තොරතුරු තමයි මේ වෙනකොට අපිට විමර්ශන නිලධාරීන්ට අනාවරණය වෙන්නේ. නීති විරෝධී ලෙස එකලස් කරන ලද වාහනයක් භාවිතා කිරීම මොනරත වාහන පනත යටතේ වරදක්.
Sri Lanka Decides.
Former parliamentarian of the Tamil National Alliance, President's Council, M.A. Sumandiran says that if he is invited to take up a ministerial post in a national People's Power government, he will consider the invitation. He expressed these views during a media briefing held in Jaffna today.
அமைச்சு பதவிகளுக்கான கோரிக்கை விடுத்தால் தமிழரசு கட்சியிலிருந்து நீங்களோ அல்லது உங்களுடைய சக பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர்களோ செல்வதற்கான வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்கிறதா?
நான் கலந்து கொண்ட பல கூட்டங்கள்ல
That was the expectation of the people at most of the meetings that I attended. There was an opinion in recent times that ministerial positions must not be taken. There was also an opinion that we must not join the central government until a permanent political solution is given. But that is not the policy of the party. In 1965, members of our party have held ministerial positions. The situation changes with time. Therefore, my opinion is that if we get such an offer, it must be considered. There are photographs of us marching in Jaffna with Andhra Kumara Dissanayaka while wearing red sashes on a May Day 6 years ago. However, we do not take photographs with him targeting ministerial positions. When an effective program is presented, we must move forward together. Our party will not engage in such actions for the sake of positions. We can discuss with them and seek solutions to fulfill the fundamental needs of our people, including a political solution. At the same time, we hope to work together to combat fraud and corruption. Even today, I am appearing as counsel in the cases filed by that party against fraud and corruption. Therefore, we do not hold different opinions on these matters.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya emphasized that there will be no undue political interference in the enforcement of the law.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ආචාර්ය හරිනි අමරසූරිය ඊයේ පස්වරුවේ කොළඹදී විද්වත්
Why are the wrongdoers questioning us about not putting them in jail? We need to tell them to stop causing chaos. The law will take its course. We are not here to put on a show for the media. When the law is enforced, they will face the consequences. This time, things won't be handled carelessly like before. Those enforcing the law won't be under any political pressure. There won't be any interference to save them. The responsibility we have is serious, and we feel that weight. You chose us to bring about change in the system, and we take that duty very seriously. This isn't just for the media. It's not a joke for us. We are committed to this responsibility. We are presenting a capable team to carry it out.
ඒ වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කරන්න පුළුවන් කණ්ඩායමක් තමයි අපි ඔබට ඉදිරිපත් කරලා දෙන්නේ.
මේ වර්තමානයේ සමාජ මාධ්‍ය තුල යනවා මේ රනිල් මහත්තයා වැඩි කරපු වැටුප දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. අනිත් එක මුදල් අච්චු ගහනවා කියලා. රජයේ සේවකයාගේ වැටුප වැඩි කිරීම.
A committee was set up recently to look into state sector employees' salaries. They've made various statements based on the interim report from that committee. We agree that salaries need to be raised, but we think it should be done in a way that doesn't create more problems while addressing the inequalities in public service. We plan to review that report and present our proposals to the 2025 budget. The interim report made it clear that the timing of these announcements were linked to election strategies. There was no need to rush the release of the report. The central bank has confirmed that there hasn't been any mismanagement of funds. We can't allow that to happen. We should avoid any financial misconduct right now. That can be misunderstood too. The central bank is destroying old notes and issuing new ones. That's just standard procedure. It doesn't mean they're printing new money to increase the total amount out there. They're just phasing out the old ones. In the future, it's still possible for notes to come out with Andhra Kumara's signature. But that's just part of the usual process. It's not about bringing in new currency.
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed these views during a meeting of the New Democratic Front held in Kandy.
The president said that Sri Lanka is facing these issues because of the media and not the government. He invited them to throw away their dirty clothes and wear democratic ones. Look who's talking. The JVP discarded their dirty clothes and embraced democratic ones. How can he say that to the media? When the media addressed money printing, Vijitha Herath denied it. However, the central bank said that it took action to grant materiality. How can they blame the media if they were unaware of these matters? Although they have worn these democratic clothes, they don't fit them yet. That's the problem here. They are making threats, claiming they will clean the parliament. How can you do that? A general election exists to choose the people's representatives. Who does that? You do. You choose the people you like. Now they are threatening the parliament. Who are they to clean it? Are they from Abans? That's all I have to ask. It is the people's responsibility. They will do it right. One more thing. Who is the Minister of Public Administration? Look at what the Prime Minister is saying. She claims I'm spewing lies. A number of officials signed this. Ask them if I forged their signatures. If not, according to tradition, if a Prime Minister or a Minister lies, they must resign. I have to teach them about the Constitution. They don't seem to know it. Are you ready to give it? I would like to ask the government.
මේගොල්ලෝ ව්‍යවස්ථාව ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ. මම අහන්නේ ආණ්ඩුවේ මේක දෙන්න ලෑස්තිද නැද්ද? කරුණාකරලා කියන්න.
Dr. Harshadi Silva, Colombo district candidate from the Samakijana Balawega, expressed these views after a public meeting in Nugegoda.
සමහරු සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාලවල තියෙනවා සමහරු කියනවා මේ ආණ්ඩුව සල්ලිච්චු ගහලා කියලා. ඔබතුමාලටත් එහෙම ආරංචි වුණාද? ඇත්තද බොරුද කියලා කොහොමද දක්වන්නේ? පටලෝගෙන තියෙන මේ වැඩේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම.
We are against this. According to the Central Bank Act, the Central Bank is prohibited from purchasing treasury bills in this primary market. That is the law. However, the JVP is against this. They argue that the government must possess the authority to print money. This raises the question, as stated in the Hansard, of why this group voted against the independence of the Central Bank. They assert that if a government is elected by the people, it should be able to instruct the Central Bank on the amount of money required for the specific initiative. That's where we diverge. Historically, we have witnessed that the Central Bank's practice of printing money has resulted in soaring inflation, a depreciating rupee, and the economy nearing a catastrophic collapse. It appears that this group has failed to grasp these issues previously. Now they claim they will not print money. We understand the ramifications of such actions. This is not merely about the president's signature being required for money printing. It concerns a more complex framework. Open market operations are distinct, and managing liquidity is another critical aspect. Currently, some people are making assertions that imply the government lacks the capacity to present these matters to the public in a coherent and logical manner.
නොයෙකුත් පුද්ගලයෝ නොයෙකුත් දේවල් කියනවා අඩු ගානේ ආණ්ඩුවට හැකියාවක් නැහැ මේක මහ ජනතාවට මොකක්ද කියලා මේ තර්කානුකූලව ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න.
Minister Vijitha Herath responded on behalf of the government. Can state sector employees' salaries be increased?
හිටපු ජනාධිපති රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතා කියනවා මේ තුමන්ලගේ ආණ්ඩුව කාලේදී සේවකයන් 2025 වර්ෂයේදී රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන් පඩි වැඩි කරන්න අනුමත කරගත්තා. දැන් ඒක ඔබතුමාලා දෙනවද නැද්ද?
පළවෙනි බොරුව තමයි ජනවාරි මාසයේ ඉඳලා 10000ක් වැඩි කරනවා.
The first lie was the claim that there would be an increase of 10,000 rupees starting in January. From January to April, they said that 5,000 would be added and then an extra 10,000 would come in April. They told everyone that the old amount would be given out from the 1st of October. But then the Ministry of Public Administration issued a circular on the 10th of January saying the 5,000 rupees would actually be paid on the 1st of December 2025. So that was their deception. They even submitted a report by Uday R. Seneviratne to the cabinet right before the election claiming that there would be a salary increase for state sector employees. But they didn't allocate any funds for that. There wasn't even a study done by the Ministry of Finance when they brought that to the cabinet. They had no money. They made false promises just to win votes. We won't do that. We are telling the people, especially state sector employees, that we absolutely will increase salaries next year. The amount will depend on the economic situation. We've never lied to government sector employees, and we won't start now. The increase will match the cost of living. We won't deceive the people like Ranil and the Rajapaksas.
රනිල්ලා රාජපක්ෂලා වගේ බොරු කරන්නේ නැහැ.
Has money been printed?
ඔබතුමාලා මේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් ගහපු මේ මුදල් නෝට්ටු ටික කොහෙද මේ මොන ගබඩාවෙද තියන්නේ?
මහ බැංකු වෙබ් අඩවියේ
The central bank's website clearly states that this didn't happen. It is not accurate and is baseless. Those who have lost their political careers, these political beggars, are just making statements that don't make any sense. This is clearly laid out on the central bank's official website.
ඒක නන්නත්තර දොඩෝ යනවා. හැබැයි තා පැහැදිලිව මහ බැංකුව ඒක වෙබ් අඩවියේ සඳහන් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Does the United Democratic Voice buy its votes? This is what UDV leader Ranjan Ramanayake had to say.
I was accused by someone yesterday that I've partnered with the thieves. Let me be clear. If you want to be with thieves, you just need to join him. I want you to know that I received the support from several people. I don't know if they used legitimate money or black money, but all of this is for the people. As far as I know, there's no such thing as legitimate money. If the note is intact and not torn, then yes, I'd say it's legitimate. There's no money from selling drugs, no money from bribes, no ethanol money, no antigen money, no Pandora money, no tsunami money, no garlic scam money, no sugar scam money, no coconut oil scam money. We joined this party after considering all of that. Several parties and countries that respect my vision and the party's vision offered us their support. All of this help is for the people. We are not distributing it at this time, and that would amount to an election bribe, but we will definitely deliver it to the people. I distributed money from back in the day, but money cannot be distributed now as it would be a violation of election laws. But to date, I have never sent anyone who came to my house home empty-handed. If anyone comes to see me, I have given them tea, a rice packet, rice, coconut, sugar, and I have even given them transport to return home. I am a man who distributed everything that I earned during my life. Would Ranjan Ramanayake, who is a person like that, not pay 2,000 rupees? I do not accept that. That is a lie.
Leader of the Samagi Jana Balawege, Sajid Premadasa, says that he will create a government that will alleviate the suffering of the general public. He made these remarks in Kaduela today.
A public meeting organised by the Kaduela district organiser of Samagi Jana Balawege, Hirunika Premachandra, was chaired by party leader Sajid Premadasa in Kaduela today.
The people are waiting for the price of fuel to be reduced. The hope that was given to the people has been betrayed. They said that they will reduce the price of fuel, but that was not done. They said they will reduce electricity tariffs, but they didn't do that. They claimed that VAT and pay tax would be lowered as soon as they came into power. And they also said that both direct and indirect taxes would be reduced. None of these promises have been fulfilled. They repeatedly said that the passport queues were caused due to corruption and assured the public that solutions would be provided. What has happened now? We will establish our government at the upcoming general election. We will establish a government that will address the people's suffering. We will get a majority in parliament, enter into a new IMF agreement and free the people from the burden that has been placed upon them.
බහුතර මන්ත්‍රී බලය ලබාගෙන අනිවාර්යෙන්ම අලුත් IMF ගිවිසුමකට එළඹිලා ජනතාවගේ හිස මත කරපිට පටවපු මේ බරෙන් ඔබව නිදහස් කරනවාමයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කර සිටිනවා.
These are the views expressed by Hirunika Premachandra.
The regret I have is that the program that we have been working on together is now being overshadowed by rumors that Hirunika Premachandra will be leaving the Kaduela electorate after the general election. Is there a rumor like that? That will not happen. That will never happen. Do not worry. I will not leave this Kaduela electorate. I will win this election. I have to tell you that within the next 2 years, I will visit all the branches across Sri Lanka, and no matter what, I will take my leader forward. That is my responsibility. We will have loads of work in the future. If we come into power, we must become the strongest government. By any chance, if we are chosen as the opposition, we must be the strongest opposition in the history of Sri Lanka. We need a strong team for that. This cannot be done with a group that is weak and ineffective. A team that can fight must go to the parliament.
Sri Lanka is now recovering from an economic crisis, and the reason is clear: plummeting government revenue.
But what happened to Sri Lanka? This revelation highlights a key issue.
What happened to Sri Lanka?
Taxes are the backbone of government funding. The Inland Revenue Department, Excise Department and Sri Lanka Customs are the key institutes responsible for this vital revenue stream. A recent audit report has uncovered some shocking revelations. According to the findings, the Director General of the Customs has lost over 213 billion rupees in revenue from 2017 to 2023 due to tax relaxations. Meanwhile, the former Excise Commissioner General has indicated that we are looking at nearly 7 billion rupees in expected excise revenue, but 4 billion rupees of that is tied up in overdue payments. This troubling disclosure came directly from the former head of Excise.
If we take the Excise Department, 6.9 billion is overdue as of December 31st. It includes 2.6 billion rupees taxes that are overdue by more than 15 years. Cases have been filed and writ orders have been obtained against 2 institutions. A case was filed against another company as well. 2 institutions have been closed. In addition, there are outstanding taxes of more than 5 years amounting to 3.4 billion rupees. In 2023, there was a deficit of 1,040 million rupees. So far, 609 million of it has been paid. Additionally, we have collected 145 million rupees in fine. In total, we have collected 755 million rupees of the 1,040 million rupees in 2023. Another 431 million rupees is overdue and we hope to collect that amount before the 30th of November.
A liquor company owner is now in custody for failing to pay 3.5 billion rupees in excise duties. What consequences await those who continue to evade their responsibilities? If we act decisively to recover these revenues, it could deliver much needed relief to the majority of our citizens.
The power of the people.
Hindus across the world celebrate the Diwali festival today. The Festival of Lights celebrates the triumph of light over dark, lighting rows of lamps as a cherished tradition.
The Deepavali festival commemorates the defeat of the demon Nargasuran by Lord Vishnu. It is also considered as a day symbolizing the victory of good over evil and the arrival of peace and prosperity. Hindus practice many rituals like lighting lamps, drawing kolam and worshipping God by offering prayers. Hindu devotees engage in religious practices today, motivated by unified prayer for light to spread within the hearts and minds of all. They visit temples to light oil lamps, remembering their deceased relatives, and joyfully celebrate this day by enjoying traditional sweets. President Anurukumar Dissanayake delivered a message emphasizing the festival's symbolism of light triumphing over darkness. He highlighted Diwali as a time of hope, joy and the triumph of good over evil, bringing communities together in unity and celebration. Reflecting on Sri Lanka's journey since independence, the president acknowledged the nation's long search for light amidst decades of challenges. He expressed optimism about the emerging era of Renaissance, where the aspirations of the people, once suppressed, are now coming to the forefront. In his message, the president urged citizens to embrace the Diwali of wisdom, advocating for the light of science to dispel the darkness of ignorance. He called for a new way of thinking, fostering enlightenment and progress for all Sri Lankans. Issuing a message, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said, "This is a time to reflect on the privilege of joy and prosperity while recommitting ourselves to building a world. Where everyone can experience freedom, dignity and belonging. Our collective goal, as envisioned through the principle, a thriving nation, a beautiful life, is to raise the living standards of all, ensuring that no one is left behind."
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has revised fuel prices effective midnight tonight. The price of octane 95 petrol reduced by rupees 6 per litre, bringing the new price to rupees 371. The price of super diesel has also been reduced by rupees 6 per litre, now set at rupees 313. The prices of octane 92 petrol, auto diesel and kerosene remained unchanged. Two associates of the notorious drug kingpin Harakata have been arrested with a drug haul worth over rupees 280 million following a tip-off received by the military intelligence unit.
The arrest was made in an operation conducted in collaboration with officers from the Police Special Task Force in Piliandala. The suspects are believed to be key operatives in the drug network run by Harakata and his close associate Army Chuti, both of whom are known for their large-scale drug trafficking and organized crime activities in the country. Authorities have seized over 7 kilograms of heroin and more than 1 kilogram of ice from the suspects. According to a statement from the police media spokesperson, searches are currently underway in Sevanagala to locate an additional stash of drugs based on information provided by one of the suspects.
Sevanagala ප්‍රදේශයේ හෙරොයින් අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම සම්බන්ධව මෙතෙක් වාර්තා වීමක් නැහැ. අපි
So far, there have been no reports of heroin seizures in Sevanagala. Yesterday, we arrested a suspect in Maradana and found nearly half a kilogram of heroin. During further questioning, we tracked him to Borlaskamua, where we seized nearly 7 kilograms of heroin and an additional kilogram of ice while he was in custody. We cannot confirm yet as he is currently being further interrogated. The initial information came from the Sri Lanka Army. Following the Maradana arrest, investigations are ongoing after interrogations were conducted by the Police Special Task Force. We have received information suggesting that the suspect may have hidden additional drugs in Sevanagala and investigations are ongoing based on this information.
ලැබිලාද නැද්ද කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට තොරතුරු මෙතෙක් වාර්තා වෙලා නැහැ. දැනට විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිදු කරනවා.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reported that Sri Lanka's inflation had dropped further in October 2024. The central bank's latest projections indicate that headline inflation, as measured by the year-on-year change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index, remained in negative territory for the second consecutive month. October 2024 saw a deflation of 0.8% compared to the 0.5% deflation recorded in September 2024. The non-food category experienced a deeper inflation, with YOY figures showing a 1.6% decrease in October 2024 compared to 0.5% decrease in September 2024. Conversely, the food category saw a shift from deflation to inflation, recording a 1% increase in October 2024, up from a 0.3% deflation in the previous month.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reported that the Sri Lankan Rupee maintained its upward trend.
The Sri Lankan Rupee continued its appreciating trend, marking significant gains throughout October 2024. Notably, the currency appreciated by 10.3% against the US dollar from the beginning of the year after the 30th of October 2024. This upward trajectory was observed across other major currencies as well, including the euro, the sterling pound, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, the Indian rupee and the Australian dollar. In addition to these gains, the real effective exchange rate, or REA 24, against a basket of 24 currencies also saw an increase. The REA 24 index rose from 70.2 at the end of December 2023 to 72.6 by the end of September 2024. This rise indicates a decrease in external competitiveness during the period. Sri Lanka's gross official reserves rose to $6 billion by September 2024. Sri Lanka's gross official reserves increased to $6 billion by the end of September 2024, reflecting a rise of approximately $1.6 billion since the end of 2023.
This total includes the swap facility from the People's Bank of China, or the PBOC, which has conditionalities on its usability. In September 2024, the central bank made net purchases of foreign exchange amounting to $96 million from the domestic foreign exchange market. The import coverage of gross official reserves, inclusive of the PBOC swap, was 3.9 months by the end of September 2024. However, the government securities market saw a net outflow of $5 million in September 2024, resulting in a cumulative net outflow of $256 million from January to September 2024. Conversely, foreign investments in the Colombo Stock Exchange, or the CSE, witnessed a net outflow of $2 million in September 2024, but maintained a cumulative net inflow of $43 million for the period from January to September 2024.
The central bank reported that Sri Lanka's workers' remittances remained strong in 2024.
Workers' remittances totaled $556 million in September 2024, slightly lower than the $577 million recorded in August 2024. However, this figure is significantly higher compared to the $482 million recorded in September 2023. Since March 2024, monthly workers' remittances have consistently surpassed $500 million, reflecting a stable inflow of funds.
CA Sri Lanka's annual Oration on Taxation was held in Colombo today. The oration was delivered by President's Counsel Dr. Shivaji Felix.
It is well recognized that a just tax system is one of the fundamental principles of a constitutional democracy. A tax can be broadly defined as a governmental levy, which is not in return for a specific benefit and is not imposed by way of a fine or penalty, though other than in the context of tax-related offences. It is important to note that a tax policy cannot be based on envy or jealousy. Taxation is a fallout of economic growth. Oppressive tax is contrary to progressive development. Sri Lanka has a modern tradition historically as old as most liberal democracies and is a country governed by the rule of law. And this has been the tradition in Sri Lanka for many years.
CA Sri Lanka's annual Oration on Taxation was held in Colombo today.
Newsfirst with the people.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Yesterday, a large quantity of fish washed ashore along the coastal areas of Batiklo. The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency said that this unusual occurrence was caused by a sudden shift in sea temperatures.
The mass mortality of the fish, especially the triggerfish on the east coast, is caused by the fresh water brought by the East Indian coastal current. During the southwest monsoon, the East India coastal current, which flows along the east coast, is directed towards Bay of Bengal head. But when the monsoon changes and the northeast monsoon starts, the East India coastal current flows southward along the East India and eastern Sri Lanka, then turn southern tip of Sri Lanka to enter into Arabian Sea. This fresh water causes the mass mortality of fish, particularly the triggerfish, which lives on the sea bottom, especially on the coral reefs and boulders. So this is a phenomena happens every year at the end of autumn or especially on the commencements of the northeast monsoon. However, it varies, the intensity varies depending on the Indian Ocean dipole. During the positive Indian Ocean dipole, the precipitation is much higher thus the water, fresh water brought by the Brahmaputra, Gangas and Iravatis are very much higher, which flows along the East India and enters into the east coast of Sri Lanka. And this particular species of the fish also lives on the sea bottom on the continental shelf. The continental shelf is narrow at Trincomalee, and it span a little wider when it's towards the southern Sri Lanka. So when the Indian Ocean dipole is positive, especially during this year is an Indian dipole positive year, the precipitation which is very much higher, that brings a huge amount of fresh water that affect the metabolism of the fish, thus weaken the fish so that it starts floating. And when it floats, due to the waves, it washed ashore, and due to the reduced metabolism, they are not able to swim away from the waves. So that causes they to get entangled with the waves and washed ashore. The East Indian coastal current flows along the continental shelf, and the continental shelf, width of the continental shelf varies from place to place. Especially in Trincomalee, the continental shelf is very narrow, and which also have the submarine canyon. And when it goes to towards south, especially Patikolo, the continental shelf is a little wider, about 8 kilometers. So the fish which lives at the continental shelf gets affected because of this fresh water and causes the mass mortality of them.
Newsfirst yesterday reported that a large quantity of fish washed ashore along the coastal areas of Batiklo. These fish had washed ashore along the coast of Kaluwachikudi, Kurukkalmadam and Ondachimadam. Newsfirst correspondent said that some of the fish that washed ashore were alive, while the others were dead.
North Korea said it tested an intercontinental ballistic missile on Thursday, upgrading what it called the world's most powerful strategic weapon, as Seoul warned Pyongyang could get missile technology from Russia for helping with the war in Ukraine.
North Korea has fired an intercontinental ballistic missile which flew for 86 minutes, the longest flight recorded yet, and over 1,000 kilometers before falling into waters off its east coast. The ICBM was fired at a sharply raised angle and reached as high as 7,000 kilometers. This means that if it were launched horizontally, it would have covered a further distance. The launch today comes at a time of deteriorating relations between the two Koreas and Pyongyang's increasingly aggressive rhetoric towards Seoul. South Korea had also warned yesterday that the North was preparing to fire its ICBM close to the US presidential election on the 5th of November. Seoul's defense ministry said the test was intended to develop weapons that fire farther and higher. South Korea said it would impose fresh sanctions on the North in response to the launch. The US called today's launch a flagrant violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.